couldn't be prouder to be a friend of Israel, somebody who supports Israel, and somebody who fights very strongly to see Israel survive, succeed, and to achieve its fullest potential.
Welcome back to Takeout. That was Jared Kushner in Tel Aviv last weekend. He, alongside Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and, of course, President Trump, have been justifiably credited with helping to end the war in Gaza, at least end it as it is defined right now. I am joined by former Israeli ambassador to the United States, Michael Oren. He has a new piece in the Free Press, which, as you might have heard, is owned by our parent company, Paramount Skydance. The title of that piece, How 3 Real Estate Moguls Ended the War in Gaza. Michael, great to see you. Thanks for joining us. 3 real estate moguls and the IDF, right?
And first of all, great to be with you, Major. And the U.S. military, got to be said. Among the many distinguishing qualities of President Trump's diplomacy in the Middle East is the willingness to back up that diplomacy with hard power, not with soft power. And previous administrations proceeded on the assumption that America would not exert pressure about military power in the Middle East. It could put economic sanctions, but it would never actually send the military, not since George Bush sent the U.S. military into Iraq and Afghanistan. And in the Middle East, what can you say? Middle East people respect power. They respect what they call the strong horse. And the fact that Trump was willing to use power first against the Houthis in Yemen, later to very great effect against Iran, gave him a tremendous amount of leverage. And you saw it. You saw it how it happened. This team with Trump and Witkoff and Jared Kushner brought together all these countries that don't agree with one another, much less with Israel. It's Turkey and Qatar against the UAE and Saudi Arabia. They really don't like each other. And got them all together on a peace plan, which is very complex and very elegant, and I think of historical import.
And Michael, you wrote that one of the things experts in the region often underestimate is the power of personal relationships and the ability to take things said in those personal relationships and translate them instantly into action.
I mean, this shouldn't come to anybody, a surprise to anybody in a relationship, Major. It's 90% personal relationship.
Right.
And it's no different in diplomacy. So for 2 years, the Biden administration sort of cold-shouldered Netanyahu. They cold-shouldered the Saudis. Obama cold-shouldered Netanyahu, very much so. And along comes Trump and says, no, the way to actually get people to do difficult things in the Middle East is to build trust, to build these personal rapports. And Jared Kushner in particular had done this over the course of years as a businessman in the Middle East. And then along comes Steve Witkoff, who didn't know the Middle East. He came out of real estate, and he also built up relationships of trust. And this was absolutely crucial. And that combination of the willingness to project American power plus those very close personal trust relationships were able to translate into these historic 20 points that the administration has forged.
Michael, you outlined or referred to the complexity of the 20 points. How far along on the 20 points are we, and what are you worried about?
We're at basically, point 1.5 out of the 20. What is it? It's a return of the living Israeli hostages. It's supposed to be all the hostages, including the deceased hostages that Hamas has not fulfilled, and a ceasefire and a withdrawal of Israeli troops to a certain line in Gaza. All that has been done. But the next phase is the linchpin of all the remaining points of the 20. And the linchpin is disarming Hamas, getting Hamas to give up its guns. And that is perhaps the most difficult thing to do here, because Hamas is a terrorist organization. The guns are in its DNA. You take away the guns, like taking away the guns from ISIS or Al-Qaeda. They cease to be ISIS or Al-Qaeda. Same thing too with Hamas. And right now with the Israeli army withdrawn, I don't think there's a major possibility of a renewed large-scale Israeli military offensive. The population of Gaza has moved back to their homes. So Hamas now has that human shield again. And I think it would be very difficult to break the ceasefire. But that doesn't mean there aren't other tools that are at the disposal both of Washington and of Israel to pressure Hamas. It's putting pressure on Turkey and Qatar, their backers. It's cutting off cash flow, arms. And if it has to be, and President Trump has intimated as such, there can be military pressure. Any Hamas terrorist who comes out of a tunnel with a gun could be exposed to drone fire.
Well, Michael, the president said today on social media, if Hamas does not disarm and stop killing people in Gaza, we will go in and kill them. That's what he said on social media. That hangs out there as something for all of us to consider. Michael, Oren, it's a conversation I want to have with you again. Please come back. Thank you very much for your time.
Well, it's good to be with you. Thank you, Major.